I guess, the classic story of where you think you had the perfect life, everything gets broken down to zero, and you have to build it all up again, and you actually come out as a whole different person in a whole different way. And I just love it. My husband and I met on the cruise ships 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. Have you ever built a life which you thought was your dream life and you thought would last forever? Well, that's what we were doing. We were cruising the world for over a decade. While my husband was working on the cruise ships, we were cruising with him. We had saved up money to buy a second home in Costa Rica, and the kids were homeschooled. We had it all planned out, and it was working exactly how we wanted it to. We were living our dream life. Literally, people were telling us we should write a book about our life. They couldn't believe all the stories we had to tell. Our kids had been to the 7 continents, or 6 of them. We hadn't been to Antarctica. Everything. And this all changed and fell apart in an instant. What came next wasn't easy, but it changed everything, including me. So me and the kids and my husband, we would literally wake up in a different port every day. We first started sailing in the Mediterranean when my son was little. Literally, how it worked is my husband and I met on the cruise ships 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. And then when we got married, I stopped working so that we could have kids. And as soon as the kids were old enough to go on the cruise ship with us, which is 6 months old, we started sailing again together as a family. This company that my husband worked for had this beautiful friends and family policy where you could bring your family on board for as long as my husband was working. Basically, his whole contract that he was on board. He had an officer's cabin, so he had a double bed. We had everything. And me and my son, we had guest privileges, basically. So we could eat in all the guest restaurants. We could go see the shows. The only thing we couldn't do is we weren't allowed to gamble in the casino, which I'm pretty fine with because I used to work in the casino. I've had enough of casino. So anyway, we did that up until I got pregnant with my daughter. And then I stayed home for a year, tried the whole school thing with my son, put him in school for a year, international school, while I was pregnant with my daughter, and we stayed home. That year pointed out one thing for us, and that was, as a family, we are happiest when we are together. The 3 months that my husband would be on the ship working and we would be home, me and my son, it was horrendous, and we never wanted that again. So as soon after my daughter was born, we waited the 6 months and then joined my husband back on the ship again. Life was pretty idyllic, literally. We sailed the Mediterranean, we sailed the Caribbean, we did the Baltic, we did Canada, New England, the Panama Canal. We've literally been everywhere. And the kids loved it. Like, I remember even once my husband said to me, what are we going to do when our son is 16? He's the oldest and he doesn't want to cruise anymore. And I still say to him, like, no, don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure that day will never come. We can just carry on cruising until you retire at the age of 67, and the kids, once they get old enough to do their own thing, they can go and do their own thing. We had our house in South Africa paid off, and we had just saved up enough money to buy a second house in Costa Rica so that we didn't always have to fly all the way back to South Africa when we got off the ship. And in between times on the ship, we would basically go to South Africa just to change our luggage, like swap winter clothes for summer clothes, depending on what the next season is, and then actually go travel more. We would fly to places where we hadn't been with the ship. So we would go visit Australia, we would go visit Japan, Mauritius, you name it, Canada. We were just traveling the world. We all loved it. Everybody was happy until 2020. And everything stopped. And I know for a lot of people this happened, that everything stopped in 2020. And this really threw our lives upside down. So my husband and I went through all the emotions of anger, denial, frustration, you name it, all the emotions, because we felt we did not choose to come to live in the Netherlands. It was kind of forced upon us due to circumstances. We were actually living in Costa Rica in 2020 for most of the year, which we considered our dream life. But then because of how things were, if we wanted to get back together as a family, which, as I mentioned before, is always our highest priority, because we are all happiest when we are together as a family, we had to come to the Netherlands. They finally opened flights for 1 week in September in 2020 from Costa Rica to Europe, and we jumped on those flights. And my husband was on the ship at that time, and he managed to get flights from where he was in the Panama Canal, I think, also to the Netherlands, and we could meet up. And once here, we arrived with only 2 suitcases. We had to find a place to stay. We had to find a town to stay in. We didn't even know where we wanted to live. My husband soon realized that he wants to change jobs because he didn't want to go sailing anymore without us, because we weren't allowed back on the cruise ships. And so we started this process of mourning our old lives. We literally had to mourn what we had left behind. And the kids adjusted really fast, really well. But my husband and I, we kept hanging on to our past life. And it was really, really hard to let go. But now we're here, still in the Netherlands, 5 years later. We've got a house. We've built up a whole new life again, just from starting with those 2 suitcases. And we can finally say we're happy. It's been difficult, to say the least. I mean, even though my husband is Dutch, it's for all of us, it was a language barrier to move here, to live here. The costs of living is so much higher. But I must say, the freedom of the safety that we have here compared to what we had in South Africa where we lived before, that is incomparable. And for that, I will never change anything, because my children now get to grow up where they are safe and they're free. I get to go walk the dog at nighttime at 10 o'clock at night without having to be afraid. Like, I don't even have to give it a second thought. It's for that, everything was worth it, for the price to have this safety. But that is not where it ends, my story. My husband had to find a different job, and I had to find something else to keep myself busy as well. Up until that point, I didn't even actually realize it, but up until 2020, my hobby was being our own personal travel agent. That is basically what I did between homeschooling the kids and being a wife and being a mother. In my personal time, I would look up our next destinations, our hotels, our Airbnb bookings, our car rentals, and our sites that we wanted to see where we were going on our next trips. And that kept me happy. And then in 2020, when no one could travel and we couldn't do anything, and we'd come to the Netherlands and it was winter, it was dark and cold, and my husband was away on the ship, I had nothing to do for myself, outside of being a mom and homeschooling and all that. I had to find a new hobby, a new something to keep me busy, something to give me purpose. And I found it eventually. I found it. So what it was that changed everything for me was connecting with somebody on social media and seeing her life, and then her sharing with me that she actually had her own online business. And that was my turning point. That was my new something that could be mine, that could give me purpose outside of being a mom and a wife. And that could be, I don't want to say my hobby, because it's more than a hobby. It's my job, but without working for a boss, and without being like a normal job. It's my passion. And I started in the high ticket affiliate marketing space, which was maybe not the best space to start out with. And then I did Etsy alongside it. And then I did, what else have I done? Oh, you name it. I've done so many things, trying it all. And finally, where I've ended up now with low ticket affiliate marketing, which is basically, I refer people to other people's products. Like, I don't create my own products. I find products that I really like, and then I share that with other people. And if they buy it from the link that I shared with, I get commission from it. And I really enjoy this kind of work because I love interacting with other people. I love having this connection with people, and I love making money online. It's for me, it's yeah, it's perfect. I love it because my dream is that one day we'll go back to, I don't think we'll ever go back to a life of full-time travel because I really love having a home base. I really want a big garden one day, possibly maybe like a farm where I can have horses and chickens and have vegetable gardens and just have space around me and have all my family have a place to live on our farm, if you want to call it that. And I want one day to be able to provide my children with a house on our property so that they don't have to go through the expenses of having to mortgage their own home. So that's my dream, and that's what I'm working towards. So yes, we definitely still want to travel a lot, but I want to retire my husband from his job. I want to move out of the Netherlands to someplace warmer where I can have a big piece of land and have a home for all of my family who wants to come join us. So that's my dream, and this YouTube channel is a part of it. Right now, this is one of the ways that I'm making money because people who watch my YouTube videos, they come through my funnel to purchase my affiliate products. And now I'm on the journey of monetizing my YouTube channel as well. So this has really been a story of, I guess, the classic story of where you think you had the perfect life, everything gets broken down to zero and you have to build it all up again, and you actually come out as a whole different person in a whole different way. And I just love it. So if you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, I get it. I was there. And if I can rebuild from zero, if I could do it, then you can do it too. So for me, what really changed everything was making a connection with other women online who were just like me, going through all these things, looking for more and wanting to earn money online. And if you want to join our community, I'll share the link in the description below for my Facebook group, the Flexible Income Club. That's your first step into my space and into my community. And if you would like to also start an online business or just to start making money online, I will put the link for my free training in the description as well, where I have a community on School, where I absolutely for free give you the whole training that I'm using to create that dream income online. So inside that group, you'll find exactly what I did. I'll walk you through everything step by step on how I'm doing it and how it's working for me. So if you've enjoyed this video, over here you can watch my latest video on YouTube monetization. And on this side, you can see a whole playlist of all my side hustle videos that I've done before. Have a fabulous day, and remember to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and click on that notification bell to be reminded when my next video gets uploaded. And also give this a like, I would really appreciate that. And share with me your thoughts in the comments because I love reading the comments.